Thursday, July 31st, 08:06 a.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. It's the last day of the month. We're past halfway through the year. I'm going to go over currencies. We'll look at the higher time frame. Each candle represents a month, and the currency market will be closing today, 5 p.m. That would complete the monthly candle. Briefly, because you have midnight that are open from 6 to midnight. So still more hours and opportunities for trades in the currency market if you're an investor for long term, as well as day trading. Question to you: products you purchases, services you paid for. What do you use for payment? Do you barter or do you use currency? I use currency. That being said, currency is one of many financial markets. The one that's mostly spoken about is the stock market. Well, this again is going to be about the currency market, because every day in life, in the Western side at least, currencies are used for, again, products and services, paying labor. The US dollar index is considered one of the safe haven currencies. Same with the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc. They don't all necessarily perform the same. When people are afraid of something, they gravitate to certain currencies as well as certain commodities. Well, I'll give you some insight if you're not already aware. Commodities are priced in US dollars. The financial markets, the biggest in the United States, the biggest in the world, we use dollars to buy those commodities. So if you invest foreign money into the United States, you're converting your currency into US dollars to invest in US markets, US products. The US dollar index is just what I said. It's an index. It's made up of several currencies. And I'm going to start off with the US dollar chart first. The US dollar index, the balance of it is 6 major currencies. The first is the euro, making up about 57%. Second is Japanese yen, making up over 13%. And the third largest currency in the US dollar index is the British pound, making up almost 12%. Those are the 3 largest currencies in the US dollar: the euro, Japanese yen, British pound. Those are the best 3 financial currencies to be trading, to be investing, because the liquidity and the spreads. Below those is the Canadian dollar, makes up 9%, give or take a little bit. The Swedish krona, 4.2%, and the Swiss franc, 3.6%. Again, those percentages change. Not a huge amount, but they do change periodically. Okay, that's the US dollar index. You could trade that financial instrument in the US futures markets, US option markets, US stock markets. Yep, you could trade those. The Federal Reserve, United States, aka central bank, holds a basket of currencies, and those fluctuate a lot. So there's no financial instrument in the open markets to trade based on those, because again, they fluctuate so much. What I mean by that is they might be holding more South Korean currency one day, and another day holding more Japanese currency or euro or Israeli shekel. Again, there's multiple reasons those percentages fluctuate. But again, what I'm showing you here are the major ones. US dollar index. It trades on several future markets. The one I'm showing you is on ICE exchange, not the CME, the ICE exchange. The ICE exchange symbols start with $. Why? Because different exchanges can participate in free markets. What's the difference in those exchanges? Oh, commissions, executions, margins, many variables in the different exchanges. So what we have here is a 10-year chart. Each candlestick's a month. And I'm going to show you here the top center, yellow horizontal line. The year 2022, that was the high of the US dollar value, past 10 years, and the bottom left, 2018, the low. Big difference. Look at that. From the low to the high, we're really close to the lows again, trending down. Here's the high. Here's the low, bottom left. So again, this year, we've been making lower highs. Yep, the US dollar has been bearish this year, month after month, making lower highs. Now this month, again, we won't be done till the close of today. We still made a lower low, making that new low for the year, and currently trading above the high of last month. This is candlestick charting, referred to as engulfing candle. Bottom of a trend, a different term. Engulfing, bullish engulfing. More likely coming into a bounce, a retracement of this downward trend. We're going to see how the other currencies are performing, because I mentioned the percentage they make up of this dollar index. Yeah, these are key levels I have labeled here. Potential trade ideas off of those levels, if and when they test those on this time frame. The fact is, we're still below the highs. Fact is, we're still below the lows of last year and the prior year. That's terrible. You're paying more for products and services from abroad. It takes more dollars to buy those products and those services. So now we'll go to the major currencies. These currencies I'm about to show you now are from several different financial exchanges. When it has a forward slash symbol, top left, see that forward slash 6E, that forward slash, and the 6 means it trades on the CME exchange. That's a different exchange. So this is the euro. Again, currencies in the CME exchange all start with a forward slash and a 6, and the letter represents the currency. Again, this is the euro, past 10 years. Yep, it's the inverse from the dollar. This month made a new high for the year. Here's the low of the year. The past 10 years, the low was 2022, and the high was 2018. So the euro is bullish, making higher highs, higher lows. Did you hear that? The euro is bullish, and I said the dollar is bearish. The trends don't lie. The euro did a big retracement. It did not take out the low of last month. Again, higher highs, higher lows. Has some pullback opportunities. Had a Fibonacci. Not all numbers in Fibonacci. Not all numbers here are Fibonacci numbers. 0.382 is, and the 0.618. So again, the euro represents the largest weighted average in the US dollar, and it made a new high for the year. Higher high, higher low, doing a retracement. Second largest currency I said was Japanese yen. I also said Japanese yen is one of the safe haven currencies. Lower low, lower high. Look how tight this consolidation is. Here's the high of 2024. Here's the low of 2024. So we're still inside that range of last year. Japanese yen has not broken out. This is a huge consolidation. Consolidations is where it's building energy, such as all this top left for the past years. It was consolidation at the highs. Again, it was consolidations at the highs, building energy, broke out of that consolidation down, bearish. Where we're on the bottom, building a consolidation, making higher lows, higher probability is going to break out to the upside. And that would have the inverse effect on the US dollar. So again, opportunities to look for strength if you want to invest in the Japanese yen. British pound. The third largest currency in the US dollar. The top left, that was the high, past 10 years. The bottom center, the low past 10 years, making higher lows. This month made the new high for the year, and now is trading below the low of last year. It's in a retracement mode. There was consolidation here, broke out of it, do a retracement. Expect to see buyers on the dip at some point. And the Australian dollar. Same thing. Higher high for the new high for the year. Let me update that. There we go. New high for the year. Higher high, higher low. And the momentum's up. Still below all these other prior year highs. A little insight. Australia dollar, New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Those countries are heavily weighted on commodities. They export a lot of commodities, from metals to energy. Metals such as gold, copper, silver, energy such as coal, fossil fuels. So exporting larger quantity of those gives more value to the currency. Not all countries are backed by the same products and services. Let's go on to the next currency. Canadian dollar. Yep. This year was the low of the past 10 years. And look what it did from the low. It took off like a rocket ship, doing the inverse to the dollar. So current month, lower high, lower low, is doing reversal. Swiss franc, I mentioned this is a safe haven currency. New high for the year, new high for the past 10 years. Why do you think it's new high? Well, a lot of flow into buying it for safe haven currency. How's Bitcoin doing? How's the stock market doing? How's your gold doing? Well, we see what here Swiss francs is doing. From the bottom of the year, took off like a rocket ship. Yeah. So if you have a financial investment you're in, and if it has not made a new high this year or this month, you would have done better in the Swiss franc. Mexican peso, new high for the year. Yep. The United States, North America, Canada's North America, Mexico's North America. The two biggest trading partners with the United States are Canada and Mexico. We import huge amount of products from those two countries. We pay for those products in US dollar. Mexican peso, new high for the year. We're paying more for those products. Here's the bottom of the year. Here's the high of the year. Chinese yuan. This now is in the Forex market. It's got 6 letters, first 3 followed by a forward slash. So the first 3 letters, USD, that's the US dollar. The first 3 letters, when you're looking at the Forex exchange, represents the currency that chart's representing. So when this trends up, that's stronger US dollar. When it trends down, it's in favor of the pair, which is Chinese yuan. Look at this. Here's the high of the year. And this month we made a new low for the year. Lower high, lower low. So when this trends down, it's stronger yuan. Yep, the Chinese currency this year is performing better than the US dollar. We just saw Mexican peso performing better year to date against the US dollar, and the Chinese yuan is performing better than US dollar year to date. Have you been made aware of that since year to date? I personally not have heard any financial news outlets in the United States mention that, to share that. That's a huge, important economic event, because the United States imports huge amount of products from China. You're paying more for those products. And a cryptocurrency called Bitcoin. new high for the year. To buy Bitcoin from your currency, convert into Bitcoin. Somebody's getting those currencies. Someone's making money off those transactions. Yep, there's fees, there's exchange fees. This is just part of the market. There's many other financial instruments to include. I give great detail on my Patreon page for that. But again, the information I just shared with you is gold if you understand it a little bit, or baby steps. It takes a while to get over the curve. Thank you as always, spending just a little bit of time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.